All right, everybody, we've got the home finale for you here today. This is going to be the last home game that we play in the Chinese Second Division North. And after this, we have one more game on the road. And once we're done with that one, we'll have our cup finale. And then we will be in the first division. So as you can see, we have clinched already. We are champions. We are being promoted. Jiangsu FC possibly could also move up with us today if they win. If they don't win, then it might be a little bit interesting, but I think they end up being promoted pretty much no matter what. And to celebrate, we have a fairly nice-sized crowd there, and we have a very Chinese team. And here's Jubin to score a goal in 13 seconds. And that is called for offside. Unfortunately, he went a little bit too early, and he's clearly offside. It's kind of a shame. Otherwise, I thought, boy, that's the right way to start it, isn't it? Here is Wade looking forward to, I'm not quite sure which striker that is there that we have up there. Anyway, and Yen Changcheng kicks back, and Yan Kun goes back to get it over to Wang Tong. We have a very Chinese team today. Over to Yi Jin-young, then to Delphi, over to Jubin again on that side. He passes over to Ravaglia, whose header is in. Pietro, as soon as he learned how to get those headers down, has been scoring goals like crazy, and he may wind up taking over for Luciano Parra, who actually I believe is not starting this game because he's been in a slump and hasn't been scoring any goals. So it's funny because I was thinking that Ravaglia was going to be the one who was going to wind up maybe not being on this team in the future. Now it's looking like it might be Parra. So how about that? And Wang Tong goes back to give this one over to Yi Jin-young. He looks forward to Ravaglia, and he's got Muanta, and he can't find him. Goes back to Wang Tong over to Yi Jin-young, and Yi Jin-young with the shot. And man, our team has come out striking from all cylinders so far in this game, man. This has been pretty impressive. Yan Kun now over to Victor, back to Yan Kun, over to Wei now down to Victor, and he's going to run forward a little bit like the fullback he is, over to Jubin, back to Victor, and then back to Yan Kun. And we will set it up again. He goes over to Yi Jin-young. Yi Jin-young over to Victor again, just like what we just saw. He does penetrate this time, moves forward to Ravaglia, and that one did look easier to score just as the message on the bottom flashed across. I'm not quite sure what happens with this play. Victor with the excellent cross, and I'm not sure how Ravaglia didn't score on that. I'm not sure what part of his head he hit that with, but somehow that managed to go up and over. It's all right. Jubin with the shot on goal from the free kick. That one hits the wall, goes out for a corner, and is going to be Yi Jin-young taking the corner. And will he find one of our tall Chinese guys? He does find Yan Kun, and that one, unfortunately for us, just goes right over the bar. But we are looking to score early and often in this one. And it is them with the ball. Li Changyi, who's back in goal again, getting one of those rare starts for him, passes over to Wang Tong, over to Shi Jiayang. As you can see, we have a very Chinese contingent on this team today. Over to Yi Jin-young, who passes forward to Ravaglia, decides to skip the entire midfield. That is the second goal of the game for Ravaglia. He is onside. No question about that one at all. Nobody's even looking for a potential offside, and Ravaglia is on fire. He had 4 goals in his last game, if I remember right. And, Yi Jin-young just wastes no time and says, okay, here you go. We'll push this one forward, and Ravaglia beats the keeper all day long and is able to just sort of scoot that one in and past for the second goal of the game. 2-0 Yanbian FC, and we have just under 20,000 here today, so not quite the huge crowd I was hoping for, but we'll see if we can change that in the future. Jubin now kicks a 4. That wasn't really much of an effort from him. It goes back to Yi Jin-young, who's looking for Jubin again. That one ends up being knocked out by the Shanxi defender. Wang Tong gets called for a foul from the back, which was not a really bright decision by him. I know that he's trying to stop their attacking momentum, but I don't think that there was any need to foul the guy from behind like that. In the end, there's no shot on goal from Shanxi, so we kind of get away with it. And there's Shi Jiayang, who heads that one out of there. No nonsense from him. Over to Ravaglia now to Muanta, and he scores, and it's 3-0 Yanbian FC. And, this is what happens when you get all the good players. We have all the goal scorers. We have all of the talent. And we score all the goals. And if there is a goal to be scored, you can bet that we will likely end up scoring it. And, that was a very nice pass from Ravaglia. And Muanta, you have 2 guys on him. You have 4 guys on him. You're not going to stop him. That makes it 3-0 for us. And here's Lee Jin-young over to Wade, and he looks forward, finds Jubin, who I think is onside. Jubin takes it back and has a little shot with it. I think he was intending to cross that one, actually. Not quite sure what he was doing. He might be feeling a little bit nervous here. Of course, only 16 years old, Jubin. Wade now over to Delphi, back to Wade. Wade knocks it forward, tries to move off of his man. Is a little bit of a shimmy, and Wanta gets around onto that somehow. I don't know where he came from, and that one is just knocked out for a corner. I don't know where he came from or how he managed to do that. Here's Lee Jin-young now, and the corner is up and is knocked back to him. That's got to be offside here. Some point in time, Lee Jin-young, is called for offside. I mean, you can't just stand out there. It's ridiculous. Let's take a closer look here and see if we can figure out where and how Wanta actually gets over onto this one. See, he's got a guy in front of him. And that took a deflection, and then he knocked it. He was just in the right place at the right time for that header. And boy, that's pretty impressive, I would say. 3-0 Yanbian FC. We are still winning in the early stages of this one, and we've seen a lot of action here without seeing a lot of goals. Here's Jubin. And Jubin moves it forward, and he passes over to Wanta. And I mean, there's just no way you're going to stop that. This is the thing, because Jubin, when he moves it up on that left-hand side, I mean, the goalie has to assume that he's going to shoot, and that gives him the ability to make these real simple passes that, he'll just knock the ball right in front of goal, and it'll sit there all day long, moves up forward, and he just moves it back a little bit, and the goalkeeper is way out of position, and the defense doesn't know what to do. They don't know how to play against it. They're too far up. Here's Shanshi with the free kick, and it goes back to Abdul Nazar, apologies, and it looks like Gao Kang Hao is offside for them. Joao Victor now with the free kick, and ends up going back to Delphi, who goes backward with it back over to Victor, all the way over to the other side of the pitch, and he moves it forward a little bit, and it's fouled. That's a ridiculous penalty call. That's a completely bogus penalty call. Here's Wanta for his hat trick, and he scores it, and he has a hat trick here in the first half. And 5-0 Yanbian FC. And I sure hope you weren't tuning into this one expecting to see some sort of like really, exciting, intense match, because you're not going to get it here. I mean, we were going to win this match right from the very beginning of it. The question now is how many players are going to get a 10.0 rating for us. At 5-0 Yanbian FC at halftime, and we've got two guys with a chance at the 10.0. Shi Jiayang is the only one who's not having the best of games, and we're going to keep him in there because I like the kid. I want to play him. And it's my team. I can do what I want. Here's Han Cai now for Shanxi. And, we're not even trying to take the ball off of him. We're just going to stand up there in midfield and wait for the ball to come to us because we know what they're going to do. Han Cai now with the free kick, and Yan Kun's able to get around onto that one over to Jubin. Jubin will take it forward himself and takes it forward, and he finds Wanta with the real exploratory pass, and unfortunately Sun Gang is able to get around onto that one. Yan Kun, though, is able to keep it in over to Lee Jin-young now. Lee Jin-young passes to Wade. Wade looking for a pass. Can't find anybody, so he takes a shot himself. Not exactly the best advised move from Paul Wade on that one, but it's all right. We'll take it. It could always be worse. Still 5-0 Yanbian FC. And if this were to be the final score, I wouldn't be all that unhappy. But I think we have a little bit more in us. Rovaglia now to Wang Tong over to Lee Jin-young. Back to Wang Tong. Wang Tong moves it forward, or up rather, to Lee Jin-young over to Wade now. Wade moves it forward finally over to Delphi. Delphi back to Wang Tong, and it goes back to Shi Jiayang, and he will reset to Yan Kun. Yan Kun now forward to Wade, over to Joao Victor. Joao Victor back to Wade, and Wade finally penetrates and is into the penalty area, and it goes back to Lee Jin-young right at the base of the penalty area. And he decides to take a shot, and he had a little bit too much hesitation there. If he really wanted a shot there, he has to hit that first time. And as you can see, we do still have some things to work on with these young players. Yan Kun, I thought, was fouled in the penalty area, no call. And that is the end of that corner. And it's Cui Bin here for Shanxi taking it himself until Jubin knocks it off of him, and that is the end of that. Now Shanxi with a little bit of an exploratory pass, it just goes straight over to Li Changyi, and there's nobody even there. Here's Yan Kun with it now. And look at how far forward, I was going to say, the Shanxi defense is, and that's what the problem has been. That's the reason why we keep scoring, because we just take advantage of that. There's Rovaglia, who's onside, No, he is called offside there in the end, and I think he knew it. That's why he kind of blasted that one into the middle of nowhere. But if you look closely, when we get the ball in the back like that of where the Shanxi defenders are placed, you can see that they're playing with such a high defensive line. I mean, you can see it right there. This is the reason why we've been able to get past. We just run the ball at them, and they can't stop us. All right, and there is we're going to take a little break here for a second as I get this phone call. All right, sorry about that. Just a little dentist phone call for us. You haven't missed much, as you can see here. And I thought for sure this was going to be number 6 here, as Mwanta got this in a great position, and he just got a little bit too excited. Looking to pass, and he should have looked to shoot instead. And, I mean, this is what happens when you don't have that much squad cohesion. I've talked a lot about how impressed I am with the training setup that is from Evidence-Based Football Manager, and it really is impressive. But one of the problems with it is it doesn't help your cohesion all that much, and that is something that does matter in the game. Lee Jin-young is able to take that one off of his man. Goes back over now to Wade, who pulls it up forward, and he looks for Ravaglia, another exploratory pass. Ravaglia takes the shot himself instead of passing. And there's another one where really if he passes that one to Mwanta, who's in a perfect position, that's going to be a goal no matter what. But Pietro wants to get his goal count up, of course. We all know that, and that's the reason why what has happened has happened. And in the end, it doesn't hurt us. Here's Joao Victor now with the indirect free kick over to Shujayang, whose header just misses. I think it hits the woodwork, and it goes back to Wang Tong, and that one fizzles out as well. So it's been pretty good for Shanxi here in the second half. They've been able to prevent us from scoring or doing any of the fancy work that we've been doing before. Delphi now takes this one forward all by himself and scores a goal. How about that? Number 18 of the season for Yunus Delphi. And, I mean, that was pretty impressive. He just ran that one up the entire length of the pitch like he's Ryan Giggs, and goes past 1-2 men and finds a little bit of space and scores the goal and says, I should be the starting striker, and he probably should. But it's all right. We'll give him his game time. As long as he's happy with playing on that right-hand side, doesn't complain too much, we'll give him the game time that he wants. Victor over to Yanquan now, and Shanxi's defense has just sort of given up. Back to Yanquan. You can see the defensive line is trying to move forward for Shanxi, and I'm not quite sure where they think they're going, but we're about to bring them some bad news. We're about to bring in the pain. Here's Lee Jin-young now, and we have so many men in the penalty box that it's not even a joke. And they end up getting it forward now to Gao Kanghao, and he has a shot on goal that goes wide. And that wasn't such a bad idea, but I guess that wasn't really a shot on goal. That was a shot near the goal. And they have now their one shot, 0 on target. Wade now over to Joao Victor. Joao Victor passes it down to Lee Jin-young over to Delphi, who's going to score the goal. I think he's onside. I don't see a flag up, and that's going to be number 2 of the game for Delphi. And that's number 7 for Yanbian FC. 7-0 now is the lead. And I mean, this was just magical. I don't know how many assists Lee Jin-young is going to get. He's our little John Stockton back there, setting up everybody on the team. And this has been pretty impressive. Yeah, 2 assists in the game for Lee Jin-young, who's been amazing. And that's the reason why we have him. That's the reason why we play him. He's not just the ladies' choice. He's the goal scorer's choice as well. They all love this kid who will pass the ball unselfishly and set everybody else up for success. And that is the final score, Yanbian 7, Shanxi Longjing 0. And could have been 8 if Jubin's goal were counted. And I sure hope that you enjoyed this one, and we'll have another one for you tomorrow. Talk to you then. Bye.